La da da da. Charleston was once the rage. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on. The beat goes on.
Luckily, Alexis Jones, that was Patrick Ball. Passing it down in front of him. Underneath. Who's on the field? Sky players. Less than a minute here. Copper all the way to plenty of room in front of her. Goes around the other side. She's not falling. Mercury is 1 for 8.
The beat goes on. The beat goes on. And the beat goes on.
Washington is playing some great ball, but Phoenix got him twice this year. Already got 2 wins off of him. Run down.
Howard, the ball fake. Force the hook. There's nothing there.
Cocktail as well. Turnover. Top of the key, but Tierra Crawford Bragg gets it back a little too antsy.
Given some space. Here is Clark. First period. Off. Lloyd, the offensive rebound. She gets the putback. So did Howard. Rebound. Collect. There goes up with the steal. Catchings. Goes Celadon bench having a little fun. But Autry goes to the reverse and missed it badly.
More than doubling her points per game from last season. I saw her in the gym every day.
Drums keep pounding rhythms to the brain.
Played hard there by Gabby Williams. Golden for a right side 3. That's an air ball long. Offensive rebound fouls. The putback no.
Grandma sit in chairs and reminisce. She's chasing girls to get a kiss. The cars keep going faster all the time. The bums still cry, say, buddy, you got a dime. And the beat goes on. The beat goes on. And 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 the beat goes on. The beat goes on. And the beat goes on. And the beat goes on.
And now for our feature presentation.
I hate you, hate you. I hate you, hate you. Fuck you, prize pig! I hate you, hate you. Fuck you, prize pig! I hate you, hate you. Fuck you, prize pig! you, hate you. Fuck you, rap bitch.
But I've had enough.
Fuck you, rap bitch. If I was scared, man, I hate enough. Fuck you, rap bitch. My whole clique about to fuck you up. Fuck you, rap bitch. Rap your hate, show me you're not the same. Fuck you, rap bitch. Begin to win and take everything. Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this spread. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage said if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Carpool into the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Becky got the hope, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season, so much free you won't believe. Join in Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all their money, ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, prize pigs. Hate you, Fuck you, prize pigs. hate you, hate you. Fuck you, prize pigs. Hate you, hate you. Fuck you, prize pigs.
But I've had enough.
Fuck you, rap bitch. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, rap bitch. Bob and Johnny, that's tomato. Fuck you, rap bitch. If you really wanna win, fuck you, rap bitch. Come and rock with population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
I've had enough.
What is up? Oh, my camera's off. All right, what is up, everyone? We are back for this one game slate on Thursday. We got 4 games tomorrow, though. We can try to briefly touch on them, but this should be a short and simple breakdown here. How you doing?
Doing really well, man. Hoping to avoid some of these storms that have been just rolling through Colorado here, but doing pretty well for the most part. How about yourself?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Yeah, it's an interesting game we have here for one gamer. Kind of surprised it's only a 5.5 point spread in favor of Connecticut, being the home team and being 4-1 against Minnesota, who is winless. Wow, last cricket play we needed hooked. That's pain.
Oh,
Yeah. Are you surprised by the spread?
honestly, a little bit, yeah. I feel like not only have some of these spreads been off, but some of the game totals have been wildly off lately, or at least the predicted totals. They have not been close.
Yeah, and key news is that Diamond Miller is out, and she's been a really bright spot for Minnesota defensively and picking up offensively and kind of doing it all, rebounding, playmaking. So with her being out, and Minnesota being on the road, I'm surprised the spread's not higher. But
Yeah, Diamond was definitely an upcoming bright spot. I mean, even just this last game, she was on triple double watch on just that first half. Really explosive. Had a small contact injury, twisted that ankle. I think they said that she's going to be out for a week or two. So that is rather unfortunate to see. And honestly, I got to say, I'm not going to be surprised if Minnesota stays pretty winless throughout the season. Yeah, they could probably be on par with how bad Seattle is right now.
yeah, I mean, the talent's there. I mean, they with Collier and if Powers can start playing better, but yeah, the way McBride's been playing and being in and out, injured, but yeah, they're gonna need Tiff Mitch to keep stepping it up. I assume, yeah, she's gonna start, and then is Powers gonna fill in now with Diamond out?
They opened the second half with Powers in place of her, so we would like to believe that, but there's nothing about Powers that I can trust yet so far. Her minutes have, either been 2, 8, 20. We could see her play 30 minutes tonight. I don't know with her in particular, but as you mentioned, Tip Mitchell, she is pretty well slated for all go in the starting unit now, and I think we just need to figure out who's going to step forward and really lead this offense, because it's almost comical at this point. We saw that, that one time when Tiff Mitchell was out with McBride, they had no leadership on the floor whatsoever, and they quite literally turned the ball over. It was a team turnover because they just were playing hot potato, and no, you take it, no, you take it, and I don't know. I need to see some leadership. Somebody's got to step forward here.
Yeah, you would think it's gonna be Feezy, right? And she was disappointment because last game, especially in the first half, because how much Diamond dominated everything, did pretty much it all, and then Tiffany dominated the offensive usage. So with Diamond out, I mean, yeah, they're gonna have to pick it up here. I mean, Powers, when she gets rolling, she can definitely eat into usage big time, and also do it all with her rebounding and scoring. So yeah, either Tiff Mitch, Powers, or Collier you're gonna see a massive spike in usage with in terms of everything, filling up the stat line with Diamond out. So let's start with them. If you had a lean based on the current props, we don't have any Powers. Maybe we'll get her before lock, like an hour or 30 minutes before. But with the 2 on the board with Feezy and Tiff Mitch, do you have a lean?
Feezy really made me nervous this last game. I haven't seen her that passive so far this season, and maybe that could be just a product of that one particular game. I'm hoping so, because she definitely turned up in the second half like we expected her to. Normally she's the go-to here, but now with Powers in the starting unit, I don't know if there's going to be that power struggle for ball dominance, because they don't really. One thing this team's really struggling with outside of Shepard is being able to pass the ball and a lot of ball movement. It's a lot of selfish ball. It's a lot of catch, stop, dribble. Like we know Tiff Mitchell does that a lot. Powers does that a lot. McBride just isn't generally that fast. I mean, she's a pop-up shooter and she can create some of her shots, but I don't know. This team's gonna be interesting. I think if I had to go with Tiff Mitchell, I still like her first half, either points or PRA, just from the time on the court and amount of time that the ball's going to be in her hand. Probably, I mean, her PRA, she doesn't really have that much stock upside here, I think, in this particular matchup. And we're going to be banking on more minutes here than anything.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird rotations, I feel like, tonight with Diamond being out, and they could go a few different ways. Like, I mean, we've seen Powers come in and play 10 minutes in the first half and phase out. I mean, they could go Milik. I mean, who knows? But we know that probably the most stable is going to be Feezy. Yeah, I mean, Connecticut has shown that they can be vulnerable inside the paint. But yeah, Shep, I don't want to trust her for scoring, and we always go under her points. But man, yeah, she's playing huge minutes now.
The entire last game.
Yeah, I mean, I think Feezy definitely has stock upside here, but can she get the scoring done? Because I mean, it's gonna be a tough. I feel like AT and Bonner match up pretty well against her. And then we could see Tiff Mitch and Powers go black hole.
Just for small context, the Minnesota is the home team and Connecticut is the visiting team.
Oh, so we had it backwards on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes more sense then. But still, they haven't been playing well anywhere.
No.
Okay, so any particular Minnesota prop standing out to you? Because we're gonna have to dig deep. It's one game slate.
They've been really tempting us with McBride's rebounds. I'm actually kind of surprised that they're leaving it at 4. They had it at 3.5. Her first game, she cleared that. She opened again at 4, and I know the field was on the over, and then she was a DMP this last game, but they reposted it back at 4, and I'm kind of curious if she starts without Powers today. I think that her RA is way too low right now. She didn't facilitate a lot in the opening half, mostly just from the pecking order, but in the second half, when the team had to make that adjustment after Miller went out, McBride, she had at least 4 or 5 potentials in just the second half by itself, and it just seems like she's kind of being thrust in to play a little bit more of a 2-3 here, or it's more like a 1-3, just not have leaving the ball predominantly in Collier's hand to bring it up on the court. And like I said, this is at least with Powers off or not starting alongside with her. If Powers starts alongside with her, I'm personally off of McBride altogether. I don't like those two playing together ever. But we know that Connecticut doesn't shoot a lot of threes. So after seeing Shepard play
Yeah.
40 minutes last game, I mean, you got to like the rebounding upside.
Mhm.
And the amount of playmaking that she does, just it makes me want to like the RA a lot. It's a little taxed, small pace down, but Minnesota is home, and we've seen AT. I feel like she's a fantastic defender, but she's been getting a little bit gassed lately, especially on the rebounding. And some of that could just be high usage, high minutes, high play time for her. She's just getting a little tired right now. But Shepard can hold her own. I mean, we've seen these two clash a lot, and Shepard's a big enough body, I think, that she can fight for rebounds here.
I agree. It's definitely a good rebound spot for her. And I think Collier would take a boost in rebounding with Diamond out. But let's say Powers doesn't start. Would you like McBride's assist straight up or just the RA?
I like the RA. She just always plays as like kind of a roaming guard, and she's just one of those Courtney Williams-esque characters that is just always in the right spot to get these rebounds. And so far through the season, she's been good for at least almost 4 rebounds a game.
I'm with that. The only thing, the assists are tempting, especially with Diamond out, because we saw Diamond playmaking, like you said about McBride, getting the potentials. It's such a piece. It's just this is going to be a snail pace game. Both teams are bottom 3 in pace. So yeah, less shots going up here. And then I guess if you're gonna take a Feezy or Tiff Mitch prop, what are we aiming for here?
I feel like hers is just always fantasy, right?
Yeah. I will say, like, if you watch the recent Connecticut games, like forwards definitely feast on the glass. Like I think Nalissa for Indiana in both meetings this season went off on the glass, like cleared a rebound prop in both games in the first half. She's a great rebounder though, but similar positioning that I think Feezy's going to be at. So I would say fantasy, then maybe her rebounding.
Yeah, I'm with that absolutely.
And then Tiff Mitch, always for her, it's just scoring. I mean, I wish we had free throw prop, but I could see her getting to the free throw line quite a bit today. Because Connecticut has been fouling, and we know Brianna Jones is not immune to fouling, so she's going to be aggressive attacking the basket. But yeah, like I said, pace down spot. Connecticut's pretty tough on the perimeter. But yeah, I think we should see more shots for her with Diamond out, and she's taken on a larger role and since stepping into the starting unit. So
Yeah, we saw what she was able to do overseas in that league, and I think that maybe she just needed a little bit of time to get used to the team, get used to all these different injuries, different characters coming in and out. And one thing that somebody did bring up in chat about Milik potentially starting, I think if she started, that might have me a little hesitant on Collier's just straight up rebounding prop. What do you think about that?
yeah, if Milik's starting,
Yeah. So I think
yeah,
we have probably two different situations here. Either Powers is going to start or Milik's going to start, right?
yep.
Okay. So
I'm with the rebound for sure if Powers doesn't start.
okay, cool. Sweet.
Okay, and then Tiff Mitch, I think both her full game and first half play Miss Ever cards are in play, and just to protect yourself against blowout. Super productive in first half in both last games since starting. She's actually scored majority of her points in the first half, 14 and 15, and she didn't really do much in the second half in those games. Only scored one bucket in both games in the second half. So easier sweat, but you know how first halves can be. Wait for the starting lineup, but 6.5 is not bad for someone who's gonna attack relentlessly. So
No, I like it. Right there with you.
okay, and then I think we had a slight lean on Shep's rebound, and then man, can never trust her for her scoring, but the amount of minutes she's playing, definitely it's bumped now since the start of the season, but the fantasy is gonna be there for her, the stock potential with how much Connecticut funnels everything inside the paint. So I wouldn't blame you to take it, but with the fantasy, you're not only relying on the stocks, obviously, but you're relying on her scoring. But Connecticut has been susceptible in the paint, but it's Shep, so
Yeah.
buyer beware. Okay. And then do we have an assist prop for her? It's at 4.5.
Mhm.
Yeah, but this, I mean, it's what she's good for, but this pace down spot could be a bit of a sweat. But definitely a boost with Diamond out. Okay. I'll move on to Connecticut, or you got anything else?
No, we can move on. Keeping it pretty light for Minnesota here, at least until we get a starting lineup.
I agree. All right, Connecticut. Very favorable spot here. Minnesota remains bottom 2 in defensive rating. They're actually bleeding threes, but that's not what Connecticut specializes in, except for Heidemann and Hayes as of late. She's been hitting her threes. So probably a boost in scoring for them in this matchup. And Minnesota's allowing the most assist to the opposing teams. So pretty much bad overall defensively, and it only gets worse with Diamond out. Like I said, their best, probably one of the best defenders and wing and D players. So she's been really shining as a defender, and then next to her would be Feezy. So with her out, big boost offensively for Connecticut. But then you got to choose which of the scores for them, because it's been, as of late, it's been Hayes as we expected. We know her potential. We've seen it in EuroLeague and in the past coming off the bench. She's been really getting it done. But you never know when Bonner's going to have one of her spike games. She's been quiet. And then Brianna Jones, great spot for her here against Shepherd. If you had to take a stab or lean, between Brianna Jones and Hayes' scoring potential, or even Bonner. Which of the three you like the most?
My gut call was initially for Hayes. I think that, yeah, she's finally stepping up. I wouldn't even say on a heater. She's just finally doing normal things and not getting into super early foul trouble.
Yeah, foul trouble has been killing her, and just taking time to gel with the new team and being in the starting unit with the new team, right? So
Yeah, yeah. And it seems like, at least for right now, AT, she's pretty comfortable with just being that roaming floor defender and helping to spot, facilitate, and honestly just mostly rebound and play defense right now. And they're essentially just out there playing 4-on-4 with one of the best front court bigs that can bully people down low. And right now, Minnesota is just putrid on the outside. They're giving up, the announcer was talking about it in the last game. It's like 30, almost 35% from three,
mm-hmm.
um, in general. And then their road games, they're giving up almost 42% from beyond the arc. So even though this isn't, I know Draco was asking about who's the home team. So Minnesota is home tonight, but even still, I mean, between Hayes, Heidemann, and Bonner here, I know Bonner went 0 from 5 last game, but just the size and the threat of her, I feel like it's going to drag on one side of the wing. They're just going to have Heidemann bring up and set the offense like she normally does, and they're just going to basically ping pong it back and forth between one side of the arc or the other. So for me, I think we could still go back to Heidemann's first half points. They do have it at 5, so it's got that tax on it, but she should be able to land a second 3 this half or this time. Personally, I like Tiffany Hayes here, though. Her first half points and her full game points are just still too low.
I agree. And what do you think about her 3-point prop as a flyer play? If you want to take it in a separate card from her points or first half points.
Yeah, I think it's still in play. I wish the volume was a little bit higher, but the efficiency's been there. I mean, she's been cleared in the last couple games.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, we saw what Dallas just did to Minnesota. Sabby was unstoppable. Tasha Howard did her thing. Both of them crushed it, 23 and 25 points. Bonner, I'm with you with her length and size and scoring potential. It's almost similar to like a Sabby role here. But she's kind of taking a back seat to Hayes and just shooting poorly. But this could be the bounce back spot for her. But it's always hard to trust her.
Yep.
Are you going to take any stabs with her or just stick with Hayes and Heidemann's first half?
If I do, it'll just be one card in that order, a third in the order. I got to see it first. You know, I'm not gonna dance in the witching hour just yet if I can help it.
I agree. And then what do you want to do with Miss Waddle, Brianna?
Not her first half. I can't trust her for the foul trouble.
They don't even have her first half. What?
Oh, they take it down? What?
Okay.
All right. So they gave us her PRA and fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, I think foul trouble wise, I mean, I think Shep's not going to get her in foul trouble. I think the concern would be Tiff Mitch and Feezy, but yeah, I think with Shep being the primary big down low, probably less foul potential for her, but
I think for Brianna, you can always go with the fantasy. You're just small risk on not getting any kind of blocks from Shepard. Like Shepard could go 3-4 field goal attempts the entire game. She's been shooting more lately, but we know Shep can definitely flip that switch and go, I mean, Turner style, or there's like 2 field goal attempts the whole game. So a little risk for, I think, Brianna's fantasy, but it is a good spot. Her points, though, she's consistent with that offensive usage and taking about the same amount of field goal attempts per game. even with her without the foul trouble, because if she sits from the first half and they just feed her in the second half.
Yeah, I wonder if Minnesota kind of treats her like they did with Griner in that matchup, Minnesota versus Phoenix, where they kind of just trapped her and forced the ball out of her hand, and Griner was like really like not productive at all in the first half. And if you look at the centers that have played Minnesota, um, they're not really racking up the rebounds. Asia had 5, Griner had 8. Even Natasha Howard, who's kind of playing the hybrid 5 role, I think she had 5 in the last game. So just something to think about, because I know Brianna Jones has been crushing it on the glass lately, and her lines were low at 7.5. Now it's all the way up to 8.5. So a little bit hesitant on that. But we know AT can always get it done. Rebounding, it's just kind of weird. It's like I guess like the wings and forwards are getting the rebounds against them. It's not really the guards, because Minnesota also doesn't take that many threes. They're right behind Connecticut and third to last in 3-point attempt. So I think it's a lot of the forwards getting it done on the glass. So it would make sense for either a player like Hayes or AT to pick up the rebounding here. But AT's high at 11. But Hayes, I mean, she's been steady on the glass. It's right there on the line, though. It's you know how it is with the backcourt, relying on the rebounding. But if you want to take her PR, wouldn't mind that either. It's at 17.5 straight addition. Speaking of AT, is there anything you want with her today?
I mean, she has just been, I don't know, so up and down lately. The fantasy's always live. You're definitely relying on stocks and hopefully her to go somewhat score mode, but I'll have pretty light exposure to her today just because Shep doesn't do that much. And now, one thing I'll say for her, if we get a scenario where Powers is starting here, her first half fantasy, I think, could be interesting again. I know she's been a little bit in the back seat, or she's been a lot of bit in the back seat as far as field goal attempts and trying to actually score. But if both of those slash forwards are going to be playing together, then there's going to be, I feel like, a pretty good amount of not only rebounding but stock upside here, and that could give us, I feel like, just enough of a boost for the risk of Brianna Jones to get in that early foul trouble that AT could just straight up play 20 minutes here or 19 minutes and almost have to play the entire first half as, the stand-in center.
Yeah. What about her assists? I mentioned that Minnesota's allowing the most team assists to opponents. I know it's been all over the place, but she did rack up 7 against Indiana. Any concern there? What were her potentials in that last game, or what was the assist potentials distribution in that last game for Connecticut?
Yeah, this last one was pretty bad and could be just from the blowout and game environment. Hayes had 9, Heidemann had, or potentials, Hayes had 9, potentials, not Heidemann had 9, AT only had 5. So a little weird there, but outside of that, she has been close to the double digits every game.
Yeah, I don't. Speaking of that,
I
I
don't
don't
mind it.
mind Hayes at 2.5. If she had 9, she had 9 potentials last game and finished with 2. She's been hovering around that 2 to 3 mark. And if she's not getting it done scoring, she's definitely gonna dish it off against Minnesota, who bleeds assists pretty much to every position. I mean, if you look at that Dallas game, they gave up, like, Sabby had 5. Who else had a lot? I think let me look. Enrique even had 5, and then Burton had 9. So I think definitely assists to go around. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's worth a stab. I think a lot of Tiffany Hayes props are live, low hanging fruit. As long as she stays out of foul trouble, like her threes and then the assists and the first half points, like you mentioned.
Yeah, honestly, all her lines are pretty low. I mean, I was on her rebounds from last game. Now, granted, Minnesota does not shoot many threes almost at all, but their defense is just so soft. It's so bad. And now with Miller out, I'm scared to see how the rebounding is going to be.
Yeah, right. Even her, it's taxed a little bit by 0.5, but even her RA, it's not bad either because she's consistently getting 3 to 5 rebounds. So if she needs a little bit of help with the assists, and say she finished with 2 assists again, it's not bad. But I think the assists is a lower hanging fruit, and just hope her potential stay around 8. So give her a good shot of getting 3 in this matchup.
I like that call.
Anything else for Connecticut?
No, they're just continuing to only give us Heideman's points, so they're just bear with them for now. I feel like after the NBA Finals wraps up, we're gonna start getting more stuff to work with.
For sure. Yeah, Chelsea Gray had 10 assists against Minnesota, and even Plum and Young had 5 each. So
Jeez.
there's assists to be had today. So just gotta hope it stays close enough, long enough, and maybe it will. Being in Minnesota, Vegas seems to think so. So, okay, let's do a little stream card here. Maybe just do like a 2 or 3 pick, and then we'll just quickly glance at the games tomorrow and point out our favorite key plays, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, we can do that. And I think that at the rate that Prize Picks has been moving, at least this week, we should get props for tomorrow's stuff fairly early tonight, even if it is just points. We'll be able to kind of go off of that.
Mm-hmm. All right, lead us off.
All right, let's see. So with the unknowns, I think I still want Shep's RA here. I want the rebounding and that assist upside. Or do you want just straight rebounds?
No, I think it's good. With Diamond being out, I think it's solid. It makes sense. Okay, let's go. Let's go with the pending starting lineup. I still feel pretty confident on Tiff Mitch today. So let's go with her first half points.
First half, okay.
And then what do you want from Connecticut?
Oh, let's see. Let's go with let's keep it simple. Let's do the Hayes 2.5 assists. I feel like you and I felt pretty good about that.
Okay. And then if you want, we can leave it as a 3 pick like that, or if you want to make it a 4 pick, let's just get some correlation here. We got double correlation. Go with Heideman's first half points, and you got Shep's assist potential going with Mitchell, and then you got Hayes assist going with Heideman. Nice little correlation there. Something like that. And then I think to mix it up, second card. It's only one game. I think with Diamond out, I think you got to take a stab at Collier here. I think she could step up at home here. It's worth a shot with Diamond being out. And then, do you want here, instead of going with Hayes' assist potential, do you want to go with her scoring?
Yeah, you could mix this one up if you wanted, and even have like AT assist and Hayes scoring upside here.
I like it. Really spreads out all scenarios. I like that. I mean, if I'm gonna play Feezy in a card like this, her fantasy, I'm just gonna fade Shep and Tiff Mitch and hope that she really carries the team and fills up the stat line. Probably have exposure to her fantasy in one card, and then go with her rebounding in the other card.
Yeah, definitely play light today. This is not two fun teams to bet on.
Yeah, kind of fire and ice. Got team that's winless going against a team that's 4-1 and playing really good basketball. So I agree. All right, let's quickly look at slate for tomorrow. 4-gamer. I'm sure there's pending news, but that's what we got. First game on the docket.
Looks like it's gonna be New York at Chicago.
All right. We don't have any game lines yet, but that's gonna be interesting. You got two teams that are pretty stout in the paint. So yeah, don't mind some big Liz unders in that matchup. Her PR or PRA, forget it. And then, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't trust any Chicago player. They seem to switch off, and Copper's in a slump, and Mabry's gonna do her up and down thing. So probably fading that. Anything you like from that game?
Yeah, I like the Liz under call. I think her PRA was a pretty sharp one this last game, and even though she did push the rebounds there at the very end, I think we got to go back to it. You know, Izzy in this spot burned us the other day, but I feel like that was a bit of a fluke.
Okay. And then the Wings at Mystics. This is gonna be an interesting game. Massive pace up spot for the Mystics. At home, we know they play really well at home. Yeah, I mean, could definitely ride EDD at home here. I think Sabby will probably match up on her and Natasha Howard at times too. So Dallas bleeds points in the paint. We know that. With McCown out, I assume she's going to be out again. We'll need to confirm that. But if she is, I mean, we can always go to old reliable Shakira here for her scoring potential. Probably just take her straight up points. And then, yeah, Dallas with the pace they play. I mean, you could always consider Sykes fantasy or RA or something like that. What do you think about this game?
Yeah, Sykes is going to be in a real interesting spot here. I'm very interested to see what they're going to open her, not only her rebounds, but as you mentioned, the RA as well. The Dallas players, I'm really interested in finding out if they're going to play Kalani Brown again in kind of the same fashion they did this last game, because she looked pretty good. I got to say, the second half they started leaning on her quite a bit more, and she had a really good third quarter in this last game. So kind of playing a little bit of a wait and see. They would like to have Howard slide back out to the 4. That way they could keep Howard and Satu as more of their, wing shooters that they have out there. Because if you step back and look at the offense as a whole, I mean, it's essentially just Arike and then Satu and then Howard. Like Burton and Dangerfield, they've been scoring a little bit more lately, but it's just on completely open shots. Like they're not getting any kind of respect whatsoever. And I mean, honestly, rightly so. They're not that high of a ceiling players, but they're scoring a little bit more lately. So maybe teams will start giving them a little bit more respect here.
Yep, I agree. Okay, I think there's some exploitable spots in that game. In my opinion, at first glance, that game and the late night hammer is probably the 2 best targets, based on news and changes. But next game, I have no interest in except for maybe second half unders.
Yeah, and that one's probably the closest spread for the Wings and the Mystics. The Aces in Atlanta's kind of interesting here. So, I mean, remember last year, Atlanta was that sneaky 3-pointer team that came in and put it on the
Yeah.
Aces.
Yeah, I remember those games. Yeah.
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 So, I mean, Atlanta's got it on paper, the recipe to beat the Aces. They can keep up with the 3 game, but I don't know. That's going to be Alicia Gray's going to have to step it up. She didn't make a single 3 last game, and you're going to try and beat it down in the paint. That's not going to work.
Yeah. You got to hope for Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard to make their threes. Late game, we've already seen this matchup, and we love when Phoenix plays at home because that means we get to dance with Dirty Diana Sore.
Oh yeah, and Sophie now.
And Sophie. So, I mean, I doubt we'll ever get a Sophie 3-point prop, but if we get Tarasi at 2.5 threes, I'll take it at home. And she played really well. And it was the first game in the season when they played the Sparks at the Sparks, right? She went off in the first half and then did nothing in the second half. So you can go right back to her first half PRA again. She was like having her way with ease in the first half. And then, Griner did her thing in that first game. So I think both are live here. And then, let's see what Sophie opens at point-wise. I think they should rack up the points here at home. And then Sparks, I guess we'll need to see confirmed lineups. They've been having such a rotating lineup and NECA being in and out. So any leans on that game?
Griner's definitely going to have a lot of my interest. I'm hoping she's not going to be juiced out of her mind. I want to say this last game she actually fell short of her fantasy line, but we know that NECA is a usage monster, and so far it's been NECA, Shanae, and I mean, if we have Canada or Lexi or whoever, you just kind of fill that next person in. But there's gonna be a lot of stocks here. So Griner first half fantasy or full game fantasy, and even rebounds too. I gotta say somebody's gonna rebound here. Sparks don't shoot a lot of threes.
Right. Yep.
And it's gonna be a good rematch again.
Yeah. I always like it when Phoenix plays at home. So, and it's always a good late night hammer with these two teams. All right, won't be able to stream tomorrow, but we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for these props tonight and breaking it down more so and providing those plays tomorrow. And any early leans we see pop up on the board. Should be a fun Friday 4-game slate, and we'll be back. No game again on Monday, so we'll be back on Tuesday again, and we have a solid 3 games. Nice. So that should be good.
And we do have games on Wednesday. So we are like I said earlier, we're moving away from those 2 days off. Now we're only 1 day off, Monday.
Yeah, this is good. It's good. We're getting back in the swing of things here. Tuesday looks great. Should be a great matchup with Aces traveling to Connecticut. Yeah, should be a good one. And it's always fun when Seattle's on the slate.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. You got anything else? I guess I'll catch up with chat.
Yeah, I'm hoping to. I'll have a breakdown video for tomorrow. If they
Nice.
give us props early enough, then I'll do a deep dive. If not, then I will have at least just a general breakdown, and we'll be sure. I'm going to be around for sure tomorrow all day, so not sure if you got plans, or I assume probably out with the family,
For Saturday?
or at least for tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? No, I'll be around.
Okay, cool. So we'll be at least in Discord all day and get
Mhm.
ready to chop up that slate. Sweet.
But for sure. And catch up with chat. What's up, everyone? J. Cole said, "Was that 2 cards?" Yeah, I just showed different 2 different cards to cover our basis in different scenarios where AT is playmaking and Hayes is scoring, or Hayes is more of the do-it-all rebounding playmaking player, and everyone else is scoring. So I think you definitely want access to the assists potential for Connecticut with how much Minnesota bleeds in assists and just overall points and scoring. So trying to cover the basis there. I think that's the best way to do it with one game and just card and 3 units where you can try to predict different outcomes. So you're able to do that with the 1 game slate, less so with the multi-game slate, because you're trying to split up cards for different players, not just for the same player, more so. So I think that's a smart strategy for today. That's the approach I will use. And yeah, let's keep an eye out for the Minnesota news, and keep an eye out. We'll give our rank list an hour before lock, so in a couple hours. We'll keep it short and concise since it's 1 game, but definitely pay attention to for part of Discord and follow the list to the not only the primary play but the hedge play, because like I said, we're trying to predict 2 different outcomes potentially for a player in their role. So try to spread the exposure. All right, guys, catch you on Tuesday. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and Eric, I will catch up with you soon, man.
All right, y'all be good.
Later, guys.
Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. 24/7 researching, it's all a fantasy. But if I make the right plays, it pays automatically. Bankroll showing that I know it goes strategy. On a winning streak, I'm stacking a dose of the bookies, all get mad at me. Confident with how it plays, not clicking on a flex today. 10 times the money, and we all about to get paid. Eric and Josh on the stream, they be killing it. Never gonna stop it, I like if you feeling it. Digging the players, they all know what time you can't make up your mind, then just go with your gut. Fantasizing, Sasha Cloud. Gabby Williams said, watch your mouth. They 1 and they 2, I play the over, they come through. Jackie Young and Kelsey Plum, pick them both, we stacking them. Going big to the maximum, just push them in, we cashing them. Let's fucking go. We about to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. Let's fucking go. We going out blazing. This is population. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pig. About to go big. Kill him with the brass pigs. We about to go big.
This is the game.
We going out blazing.
Let's get hunting.
This is